I said, all these women is evangelists, baby. Don't get me up there. I might say the wrong thing. I might say all the wrong things. I say, and then I see they had children in the room. I say, well, definitely I got to watch my mouth, right? Because I'm very seldom in my best behavior. But anyway, I am a writer. I'm a 3-time published author. I am a poet. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a mother of 3. My son 27, daughter 26, baby girl 14. Have 3 grandsons, 6, 4, and 3. And I'm an only child. And I love and adore my mother. People always say you need friends. And I believe you need friends. But during the course of my lifetime, I only had one girlfriend. And she's a triple PhD. She just never gets tired of going to school. But I tell people I came in the world with 2 people in the room. It was me and my mama. And when I leave this earth, if it's by God's strength, I know that if I go before her, she'll be in the room with me. And if she go before me, I'll be in the room with her. So I decided that I needed to do some things in life. And I was always somebody's mother, somebody's wife, somebody's daughter. And so 7 years ago when I turned 40, I was like, well, let me see what I'm going to do for me. So here I am. Can't wait for 50. Cannot wait. I'm a ball out of control. I ball out of control normally, but I'm going to really ball out of control. I host a blog talk. It's called That's Debatable. If y'all get a chance, y'all can go like it. We talk about things that people won't talk about. Last month, we talked about rape. And I'm the kind of person, I bow out of things that I'm not familiar with. I didn't discuss child rape. I didn't discuss stranger rape because I think those 2 things, there's no excuse. I did discuss intimate rape because I think that intimately we set ourselves up for some stuff sometimes. That's my thing. I also have another show that I do, which is just strictly adult show, so I won't even throw that name out there. But then I also have something I just put out today. It's called Butterfly's Creative Cafe. And there I'm going to be doing interviews because what I do is I interview people, what they're doing, where they're at, where they're going, and then we talk about some other things. But I want to ask a question, and just raise your hand. How many of us ladies in here consider ourselves codependent? Codependent. Raise your hand if you're codependent. 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, the rest of us, out of this room full of women, every other woman who did not raise their hand, you are codependent and don't even know it. So let me explain to you what codependency is. Codependency is when, let me back up. We are born into codependency. Let's get that out the way. We are born into codependency. When we come into this world, we need somebody and something. When our parents send us off to school, we need somebody and something to help us get through. When we go on these jobs, and anybody that's in the room that's on a job, a 9 to 5, is codependent. Because if they don't pay you that check every 2 weeks, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a bill that's not going to be paid. You're going to have some situations that's going to go on. I experienced codependency through a relationship in a marriage. I became codependent, unhealthy. So we all are codependent. But then there's this thing where we become unhealthy in relationships. We become unhealthy in life. We become unhealthy in our jobs. We become unhealthy in the internal chaos that sometimes we entertain. And as women, men, dogs, cats, we all have internal chaos. So we don't need to bring someone else's problem into our life. I got married to my high school sweetheart, married 17. I've been married my whole life. Married 17 years to my children's father. After Hurricane Katrina, that whole little fiasco, I relocated to Texas. My husband's from Memphis, first husband. And so wound up coming to Memphis with him for Hurricane Katrina. He got here with his people, acted a plumb monkey. His mama and my sister-in-laws, they all, they all love you from a distance. But once I got to Memphis, they had their little favoritism. Well, that's your child. You're supposed to do for him. You understand? But you're not going to neglect me and my 3 either. So I was here all of 4 days. I seen a car on the side of the road. It was $1,600. I said, Mama, send me some money. I brought a car, and I went to Texas where my mama was. Of course, he came the next day, but by that time, I was done with him. Them 17 years was done. I was done, OV, finished. Okay. So my high school sweetheart came back around, and he's like, oh, give me another chance. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to be it. I married this clown 7 months after getting divorced from the first clown. Although they good clown, I had good husbands. And, for what they good for. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes men good for certain things. What they good for, they are. But we did the marriage thing 17 years, divorced 7 months, remarried again for 11 years. I've been married my entire life. So I wrote this book and published this book in 2011. If you change the words, you change the meaning. An addict struggled to let go. See, he thought this book was about him. This is when I understood with test and testimony. This book, it has little to do with him. Drug addict, because guess what? This was 11 years ago, nigga still smoking. You see what I'm saying? Still smoking. He ain't gonna stop. That's what he do. That's his thing. But this was for me. It was because I was an addict. I became addicted to trying to save him. And in the process of trying to save him, I lost myself. And as women, we lose ourselves trying to save husbands, family, children. At some point, we have to understand that these people going to do what they're going to do. You're going to be dead and gone. They're still going to be doing the same thing, different day. This book was my saving grace. Because I was an only child, I couldn't call my mother and tell her that this man was abusing me. Not physically, because ain't nobody going to hit me. We not going to do that. Not at all. But emotionally, I was in the ground. Because I was so busy trying to hide what he was doing from everybody else. They say what was done in the dark will come to the light. It came to the light by means of my health. In 2008, I experienced a stroke. We gone somewhere, playing the mama, daddy, children role. And then he dropped me off by my granny. And then they said I just hit the floor. So they called him. He come back, got me, woke up in the hospital, and he there. I'm like, what I'm here for? They said I had a stroke. So I had to learn to walk again. The whole while I'm learning to walk, he's still smoking. You hear me? Still smoking, foxtrotting and all that running. And I'm in the hospital trying to learn how to walk again. No. So I believe my motto is I begin to live when I begin to speak. Because as long as it was inside of me, it was killing me. So I began to write. My mom used to say all the time, she said, what's wrong with you? I would call and talk to her. She said, I would do that the whole time I'm talking. Like I'm losing breath. You know what I'm saying? I was like, how did I get to the point where I'm letting somebody steal my breath from me? He didn't give me no breath, but he's stealing my breath. Sometimes you got to write it. I tell people to write it. This is my baby. Save me from myself. Because at the end of the day, I can't blame him. I have to blame me. I decided to stay one day too long. I decided to walk that walk when I knew it was already leading to a dead end. I kept that facade up, dealing with him. So lo and behold, 5 years ago on the 13th, which would be sometime this week, right? Friday. 5 years ago on the 13th, I moved to Memphis. One-way ticket for my baby and for me. Mind you, I own a home in New Orleans, right, Patricia? I own a home in New Orleans. Paid for. Been paid for since I was 19. But I left that one-way ticket, one bag for each one of us, and came to Memphis. Because at the end of the day, the finances that we making $200,000, $300,000 a year, mind you. But we making that as a dope fiend and as a codependent. You understand? He drugging and I'm trying to save. He drugging and I'm trying to save. And we both losing. Okay? So I came here, and since coming here, I am me. I do regular poetry, but I'm an erotic poet. I'm an erotic performer. That's why I don't know why I'm on this panel, because I do erotic stuff. But I talk to women all the time because they say I encourage and I empower on a different level. Because I tell people to embrace who you are. After writing this book, I then wrote a cookbook. And this was called Still Cooking Across the Canal. I did this 50 recipes. It's real simple. But it has this thing in it called lagniappe, because from New Orleans, you always get something extra, and that's a lagniappe. If you buy something, they give you a little something extra, because that's just our way. That's our hospitable. That's our gratitude. But with this book, I found comfort and peace, because in the 10 years after Katrina, when people thought that New Orleans was long gone, I went home, and I still was cooking across the canal. And that's where I'm from. I'm from the historic New Orleans. So this was my comfort. This was my exposure. This was my acceptance. Once I accepted where I was, then I found comfort in what I know best, which is the kitchen. Because in New Orleans, I grew up where we would be in the kitchen, and that's where everything took place. You know, even though you had a dining room, everybody kind of stood up as they cooking. You get your plate, you still stand there, lean on the counter. You eating. You know, we was at the traditional formal, had to go sit down and eat. We just ate wherever we felt comfortable. We wanted to sit on the porch. That's where we ate at. So I tell women, when we think about living in relationships and living in somebody's self besides us, we are enslaved. You know, people talk about slavery and the white people and this. Nah, black slavery is the worst kind of slavery there is. And then when we enslave our own minds, the worst lie we can tell is to ourselves. So if we sitting in a room full of people and we say we religious, or we say we spiritual, or we say we married, or we say we adulterer, or we say everybody want to judge who you are. Can't nobody judge who you are. If you want to be an adulterer, be what you be. My grandma said be the best whatever you gonna be. You understand? Don't make sense to put on no airs. We put on too many airs for people, and that's how we lose ourselves. And then I wrote this book. This is my new book. I released it April the 22nd, Sugar? That's right. Okay, April 22nd. Y'all, that's Sugar. That's my confidant, my everything. And we could not be any more different. I had to make her not wear her African stuff because that's all she wear. I was like, you ain't coming with me with that on, not today. Not today. So I said, we going to put something else on you. So by the time we get back to Memphis, she better take that shirt off, or them ancestors are going to be talking about her behind. But this, my baby, I released this in April the 22nd. It's called Melphamine Juvie, Love versus Lust, a Cougar's Passion. So I guess you can imagine what this is about. This is about a May-December romance. Older woman, younger man. So I'm living my best self, and just so happen I'm living my best self because I have a young boyfriend. So, but it's a short read. I've had 4 book signings, I think, since April. I've had like too many book signings.
Got one coming up Saturday.
Got one Saturday. Oh yeah. Yo! Do you hear me? How this black girl from the 9-1 New Orleans, I'm at Barnes and Noble. You hear me? I'm on that national website. Go to barnesandnobles.com and guess what book you gonna see? This one. I said, now it took me to write 2 books. Ain't nobody gave a doggone what was going on up in there. They waited till I had to write some foolishness. You heard me? To take notice. And so But my heart and soul is in this because I thought with, not really my first husband, who I was married to for 17 years, but with my second husband, who I met when I was 16, my first everything, I thought that was my greatest love. I thought that was my greatest love until I met this young juvie. Okay, I promise you that this is my greatest love, my heart and soul. My heart and soul in this book. After having gone through 2 marriages, drug addiction, redemption, regaining my dignity, reclaiming myself as a woman, I found something that's greater than me. I didn't even know this existed. And people try and put you in boxes and tell you what's acceptable and tell you the norm. Ain't no norm. Ain't no norm when your heart is involved and when somebody show you a better way. And thank you. As I progress, and the fact that I am at Barnes and Nobles, and the fact that they think that I write well enough that I can be greater than my story. Because if I lived in my moments and I go back to them 5 years ago before I came to Memphis, I didn't think I'd see better days. And as Ms. Stelf said, I am living my best life right now. I encourage everybody in this room, if you don't know what living is, start living today. Put what you need in front of you and go for it. I was telling Miss Mosley last night, she said this is going to be my last event for a while. Sometimes we put all this effort into planning, and the plan is what tears us down sometimes. Don't worry about the plan, worry about the purpose. Yes, good. The purpose is that if it was one person in this room or if it was 50, 60, 200, 1,000, somebody's going to leave with something. Right. More than what we came in here with. So at the end of the day, I just want to encourage every woman, because I'm a firm believer in melanated love. I'm a firm believer in it. I'm a firm believer that every woman can be who she needs to be for herself. If we can't be who we need to be for us, we sure can't be who we need to be for anyone else. And we have to stop judging each other. We come into a room sometimes, and before, like I said, I do erotic poetry, and I was in 4 plays last year. And I was in a play, and so I'm doing some poetry, right? As soon as I get in the room, everybody fold their arms like this. The women, not the men, the women. They don't want to hear the erotic poetry. And I said, y'all can fold y'all arms all y'all want. For this 7 minutes, because I make $100 in 7 minutes. I done spoke at UT Dallas. I make $225 for 45 minutes speaking. I don't care who fold their arms. Y'all gonna get this work. You know what I'm saying? You gonna get this work. And I just feel like y'all start giving for y'all work. Stop hiding behind whatever. Stop hiding behind what people gonna say, how people gonna feel. Give them your work. They either gonna accept it or they gonna reject it. And that's okay. Rejection is okay, because rejection makes us stronger sometimes. How many of us have been rejected by men, rejected by family, rejected by friends, and we still could sit here today and say, you know what? I'm better than I was before I was dealing with them. We can't deal with everybody. We can't, like she said, we can't take everybody on our journey. Our journey is not meant for everybody. When I see people, I see I see greatness in everybody. I see greatness in everybody. Even if you're not being great, I'm the kind of person that'll come and tell you, look, hey, girlfriend, you know them eyelashes you had on? Girl, that is unbecoming of you.
I'm glad you told me.
I just don't feel like people will be like, oh, you need your face beat. Baby, if they can't take this face I got, they won't get it beat. They won't get anything other than what I have to give. And right now, I have me to give in my naturalist form. So if I put on any pretense, it's probably because I'm just trying to, pass time. I don't pretend too much. I'm just straightforward. I'm straight, no chaser. I'm cut from a different cloth. And that's probably because my daddy was a little ignorant. Then my mama, her dad was a little ignorant. And then I be with my ignorances and all that. But at the end of the day, thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to come down here. And anything that you look up, any social media, IG, I ain't on Snapchat. I'm too old for Snapchat. But anything that you look up, I'm Butterflyy with 2 Y's. If you put in 2 Y's, I will come up. And I have different segments on there where people can ask me questions. It's just a lot of things that are going on. I'm trying to narrow some of it down because I am supposed to be starting a reality show that's produced by Snoop Dogg as the executive producer. It's called Self-Made Dreams. So we still working on that, trying to get that going. And it's 5 women, 1 from Atlanta, supposed to be 4 from Memphis. And one of us going to win $100,000 for our dream. Whatever it may be. And mine just happens to be just to open up a creative cafe where people can come in. Women can come in there from 18 to 50. If you just want to stand in the floor and scream and let your voice echo, you can. If you want to come in there and paint, you can. If you want to come and do poetry, you can. So that's where I'm at in life. And I hope that I get to talk to some of y'all, meet some of y'all again this lifetime. Don't let this be our last time. We ain't got to be a one-night stand. We can keep this thing going. But thank you. I appreciate y'all again. I'm Ellen Butterflyy Allen. I'm a 3-time author. I'm a poet, and I'm a lover of life.
I was thinking about all the things I have in common. I had a younger man at one time. He wasn't the love of my life. He was ignorant, but I was the cougar for a minute. I used to do erotic poetry. So we got that in common. I've been divorced, unhealthy codependency. I needed the attention from older men. All these things we're talking about, molested. I got the old kids. But see, I started over. I got a 3-year-old now. I got a 2-1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So I started. But you know what?
That's because you fell in love. That's because you fell in love, baby. Stop falling in love like that.
Had the depression, the deep depression, and had the abusive relationship. Been a single mother. I've been going through therapy for years and years, and I have no intention of stop going through therapy because, at least with that person, I can talk to them. You can't talk to everybody. I go to these people and I talk to them, and then they say, give me questions to help me work through my things. See, sometimes with friends, they give you advice. You may not need advice. You may need to work through it yourself. So we're going to open up the floor for just a few minutes. If anybody have any questions for any of the ladies on the panel.